Hey guys, Neomis here. Now, it's a bit later than I wanted to put out, but had to do a few things today and I had an amazing dinner with the 101 team. But I wanted to kind of give my 2 cents, 5 cents, 10 cents, or a dollar towards the Arsenal preseason game where Chelsea beat Arsenal 2-1 in a game where was the real first test that you would have to say that Arsenal really got, and they failed. There were a few little bright spots. I'm in there by a certain amount of players, so I'll start with the positives and then I'll put the negatives near the end because I really don't want to talk about the negatives too much. But in terms of the positives, I gotta say that first of all, Joe Willock getting a chance finally, Mikel finally. Loving the fact that Joe got a chance, took a good shot, scored it. If VAR was there, it would have counted as a goal, got it over the line. Loving the impact that he brought, and you could just tell. I mean, the way how he moves around the pitch is almost like a Cadillac, just smooth, seamless, passes the ball nicely. You could just tell that he's just brimming with confidence, and that's what you want in an Arsenal player right now. And I know there's an argument still, like, is he a 10 or is he an 8? And I think that that's probably still being ironed out. But you know what? I would say that right now there needs to be a backup for Smith Rowe. Why not make him the backup for Smith Rowe, at least right now? Maybe have those two kind of challenging for that true number 10 position. I don't think that Willock is much of a creator, but I definitely think that he's a damn good goal scorer. And for me, he is a must in this Arsenal midfield right now. And some way, somehow, Mikel Arteta has to find a solution to make sure that Joe Willock is able to get into the central midfield, even if it means that he's just a regular bench player, but he must be in there. Like we have to be able to satisfy his needs and wants because he's another person coming up with the last 2 years after this deal, and I would hate to him to be in that current kind of like Eddie Nketiah situation, whereby last year in his deal he's just in the shop window playing well, and we're going to lose him for free. And I'd hate to see that situation right now with Joe Willock. So hopefully he does get a chance in this upcoming season overall. Second person I wanted to talk about, someone I don't really like that much, but I gotta say he did score a good goal for Arsenal. And Granit Xhaka. I'm not a Granit Xhaka fan. I cannot wait for Roma to go and purchase him. I think that that's unlikely, as you saw from the previous video I uploaded earlier on yesterday, as you're watching this right now, talking about Mikel's comments on Granit Xhaka, who still says that he's staying at Arsenal and that he's a key member of the squad, which I hope is just them playing cat and dog with Roma, hoping to say, Roma, hey, we're more than happy to keep this guy. You either pay the money or like you're done out here. So I hope it's one of those situations. I'm not quite sure. But I do hope that this is all just a negotiation tactic. For me, Granit Xhaka is he's not the type of player I want in my midfield. I think he can be effective, but once he gets pressed on the ball, and we kind of saw that today with him and Bellerin kind of getting caught out, it's the same thing over and over again. They need time on the ball, and that just he's not going to get that in the Premier League. I don't know which other way to kind of put it. He just isn't going to get that in the Premier League, and for me, that's the reason why I think he's going to go. So I think if a decent offer comes in for him, I'm more than happy to say goodbye to Xhaka overall, and probably start someone either like Lokonga or bring in another kind of midfield player for Arsenal to kind of do some bits, because there is talent out there, and it's just a matter of Arsenal trying to go and find the player that's right for that position. I know there are talks on Ruben Neves, and he's now in talks at Man United, or at least said Man United said to be interested in him. But let's really see. Hopefully, maybe this is the reason why kind of things are cooled with Ruben Neves, but you never really know for that. But nevertheless, let's focus on getting Xhaka out and then we could kind of worry about what's the second step with who do you then replace him with overall. Uh, let's see what other good things happened today. Well, Nketiah came on the pitch, and he played pretty well in the second half. Very good work rate, one-touch football, linking up with Aubameyang really nicely. Tracked back, work hard, did everything that he needs to be. Working hard for that better contract with a new team, I would say, because I don't trust this team to offer him a proper, decent contract that is deserving of his talents. So he definitely is in the shop window looking for a new club to kind of jumpstart his professional football career. And I could honestly say to Eddie Nketiah, I wish you all the very best because I know you're a very good player. And it's just a matter of time before a team truly sees your talents as Newcastle saw last season with Joe Willock. Other things was Thomas Partey, absolutely brilliant, was the very best player for Arsenal in the first half of the game. Was creating chances, passing well, intercepted the ball so many times to get Arsenal. Like some of the chances that Arsenal were trying to create really started from an Thomas Partey either a key pass or maybe intercepted it. I think he intercepted it twice that led Arsenal to trying to kind of create chances. And I just thought it was a really nice little performance from Thomas Partey. A shame he got injured. It's a little bit of a rough foul from him, from Kovacic, the Chelsea midfielder. And you just have to say you hope that the injury isn't too bad and that he's going to be able to kind of bounce back. And, you know, he's probably going to miss the Spurs game, but probably first game of the season, or maybe I'm sure there's going to be another game, closed doors game against maybe another team that Arsenal probably get some last minute training done and kind of a feel of being back up playing into the Premier League going. So let's see what really happens there. But amazing performance from Thomas Partey and looking forward to seeing what he does by the end of the season. Last thing would have to be Smith Rowe. I thought he had a good shot on goal. Shot hit the post. Want to see more from that, not just from Smith Rowe, but from the other Arsenal players as well. Not many shots kind of happening. I know Chelsea defended pretty well with kind of getting a lot of blocks in, but you want to see more. You really want to see more, and I want to see more shots, or at least on target. It's the key thing. More shots on target, and seeing things improve. For me, is the key part with that. And then to some of the bad parts. Mari, in my notes here, I have Mari is shit. Got beaten by Hudson-Odoi way too easy. And this was in the first half. I'm not a Mari fan. I wasn't much of a fan of him last season. And even when we really bought him, I think he made a mistake against Man City. And I realised what the mistake was afterwards. Is that's because he tries to control and pass and shoot all on the same foot. You know, like professional football players, normally you would control on the opposite foot and pass on your stronger foot to be able to do passing or take a shot. But Mari does all of it all on one foot, meaning that when you put him on his right side, he doesn't know what to do and he gets caught out a lot. And that's exactly what happened with Hudson-Odoi, just beat him way too easily. And I know people are going to say that this is pre-season Neomis. You can't be that way towards him. But I'm going to say, you know what? Screw you. He was terrible. No, not my centre-back pairing. Hoping that Gabriel comes back. If not, I'm going for Holden Ben White in that centre-back pairing. I do not want to see him. Mari in that back line for Arsenal by the time we get to Brentford. Other things, Hector Bellerin gave away a loose ball, which created a chance for Tammy Abraham, who I will get onto in another video. There's some news coming up with him in Arsenal, and obviously when you hear that, you probably know what it is. But I'll talk about him later on. And just really sloppy play from Bellerin. Aubameyang... Where do I even get started with Aubameyang? Poor performance overall. Aubameyang, like, everybody's been talking, and I've seen some videos off of AFTV now, and they've been talking about, I think it's lead judges, that um, Aubameyang isn't scoring. But let's be really honest, like, Aubameyang hasn't been playing well for a long time. And I get it, the team isn't built to get the best out of him, but he's having chances, and he's no, he just isn't doing it. Now, I hope that he's able to change things around, because if he isn't, Arsenal are going to have another problem, and then it puts more pressure on the likes of Pepe. It puts more pressure on the likes of Martinelli for me, Saka, Smith Rowe, Willock, and all the other goal scorers that potentially Arsenal might have this season to kind of really step up and not just score more goals than what they did last season, but then to also to compensate for Aubameyang and his recent deficiencies. So we need Oba back, scoring at least somewhere close to what he was doing before. You know what? I'll take 20 goals across all competitions for Aubameyang this season. You know, I think that's pretty fair for a guy that was scoring damn near 25 to 30 goals minimum a season across all competitions. So I do want to see more, but you know, very worrying. I wouldn't rely on him, to be really honest, until you get it right with a formation that gets the best out of him. But it's Mikel Arteta. let's see what happens with Aubameyang. It's that's a long discussion with Aubameyang, is what I would have to say. And then besides that, we almost have nothing else. Just getting caught on the counter attack too many times. Chelsea were really good, and when you think of the fact that, yeah, they had some of their first team players, but for the most part, they just had players there that was on the bench, regular bench players, and players who wouldn't even really play. So I mean, we saw the likes of like Loftus Cheek play, and he was good in the midfield, helping to kind of deal with Thomas Partey and his physicality. Uh, but we've got to find a way. I mean, there were talks that this was just an experimental formation. We were playing with a very high line, which meant that Chelsea were able to hit us on the counter attack a lot. And I hope it is experimental, because from what I saw, I don't like. I really, really don't like. I saw a game whereby Arsenal looked like they were just completely outplayed, out tactic. Um, and when you look at the fact that the players there that we chose were basically our starting 11, that I personally feel that for the most part, Mikel Arteta would have played against any top team. When you look at the names of the Aubameyangs, the Lacazettes, the Pepes, like we played with almost the strongest team that we could have. I think except for probably Mari, um, and then maybe Pepe, maybe Aubameyang. But yeah, you know what? Aubameyang would have probably been up front with probably Saka on the left and then maybe Pepe on the right. That's the only thing that I could really see whereby it didn't look like our starting 11. And it's worrying that with 2 weeks to go, Arsenal are in that position. Now, I do feel as though there are enough pieces there for Mikel Arteta to do some bits with. It's not all bad. And that's the positive, is that there are things that Mikel Arteta can do in order to kind of get things moving again. But it's really up to him. How is he going to be able to do this? And my thing is, what formation is he going to play? What players is he going to play? Where are these players going to play? Because that is going to be key towards where we finish. And I know people might think as well, of course, because that's like a bit of a no-brainer. But for me, that's just absolutely massive, because if he doesn't get that right from the beginning, particularly in these first 10 games, and it's coming up soon before we start talking about, predictions on where I think Arsenal are going to finish. And I've already done kind of like my spoiler alert on Arsenal, and I've said that we're going to finish seventh. I just haven't given my reason why I think we're going to finish seventh, because I've been kind of waiting to see where all the dominoes fall in terms of the transfers. But there really hasn't been much any change with that. So I will say this final note, in that it was indifferent performance. I think it gives Arsenal fans a first glimpse of how Arsenal could potentially fare this upcoming season. And I would say that it doesn't look great, but there's still time. And that's the one thing that gives us hope, as Arsenal fans, as football fans, and just general. I think that's the only thing that we could ask for is hope. I don't think that we can ask for any kind of guarantees. It's just not going to happen. But I could do with hope. And I need something to really hope for and to believe in. I need a reason to go out and purchase this Gears kit. And still, I haven't seen a reason. So, Mikel Arteta, if you want to get Neomis' money, do you want Neomis to go up and buy a new Arsenal shirt with Xhaka at the back? Fix the team, and I will go and spend money. But nevertheless, what are your thoughts on the game? Leave your comments below. Do remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Check out some of my other Arsenal content. I've got a link in the description. And I will see you all on my next video, which should be somewhere on the end screen now.